What is going on, everybody, in Real Pro Wrestling's YouTube page, Wrestling Review Society's YouTube page, and twitch.tv/Kevin. Guys, we have another amazing pro wrestling interview set for you guys here tonight. And just before I bring my guest on, I want to take a quick chance to thank our amazing sponsors who make this show happen each and every time I turn this camera on. So first of which, guys, is going to be my wife's custom business, A-Rock Designs. Guys, if you've noticed those cool tumblers you see floating around the hobby page, whether it be wrestling related or non-wrestling related, make sure you put your orders in through arockdesigns.com or A-Rock Designs on Facebook. She can make any custom merch, and they just added a heat press. So now we can do t-shirts, tumblers, all that good stuff. So whatever you're looking for, guys, any custom merch at all, make sure you put your orders in through Ashley Rodriguez at A-Rock Designs on Facebook or arockdesigns.com. Our other sponsor, guys, storefrontier.com/Wrestling Review Society for all of your heel Kevin merch or Wrestling Review Society merch, guys. Go score yourself a long sleeve, short sleeve hoodie, even baby onesies, guys. Go get your merch today. Take a picture of it, post it on social media. I'd love to see you guys wearing it. And lastly, guys, scrolling at the bottom of your screen, if you are not watching on our Twitch platform, I highly encourage you guys to hashtag switch to Twitch and join the Heel Kevin Army on twitch.tv/HeelKevin. With that being said, guys, I don't want to waste any more time. I want to go and get my guest in here. I've really been looking forward to doing this interview. And ever since I saw this man wrestle for the first time, I knew I wanted this to happen. So thankfully, he's here, and we're going to go get this interview underway. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Riot Pro Wrestling Young Lions Champion. This is Remi. Remi, what's up, man?
What's good? What's good, man?
Not much. The belt looks great on you, man.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think it looks great too.
You're in the middle of a pretty lengthy title run, man.
Hey, you know how it is, man. They keep setting them up. I keep knocking them down. You know how it goes.
You're absolutely right. I've seen you take on people, 3 times your size, right at your, like, you literally take on all challengers. It doesn't matter to you, does it?
No, I mean, at least the way I see it, that's the point of being a champion. You're supposed to face anybody who has the guts to step up. I'm not down with those champions who duck and dodge and hide from people all the time. So, nah, that's not me, man. Anybody who wants a shot, all they got to do is get in line and step up.
I got you, man, and I dig that attitude about you. And like I said, you've had that attitude since day one that I watched you, and then I got to go to a Riot show, and I saw you do your thing over there. That's pretty big matches coming up with Riot. We're going to get into all that in just a little bit. But for the people who now, there's a lot of people in here who know who you are. I stream the Real Pro events on my Twitch channel. I've streamed Riot before, but for the ones who are new to the channel, for the ones who don't know you, tell us a little bit about Remi. Who is Remi?
Well, what exactly you want to know, man? I don't know if I'm the best at just speaking extemporaneously, so give me some questions, man. Let's go that way.
What word did you just use?
Extemporaneously.
What does that even mean?
Let's call it riffing.
All right, so I guess I'll start firing off some of the more general questions, then we'll get into the more unique questions. But
all right.
How long have you been a wrestling fan, man? Like, when did you discover pro wrestling? Around what age?
My earliest memory of pro wrestling, it was when I was living in England in the early 90s. And like, it was weird. So like, we would get, feeds of like the mega WWE events. So I remember my parents waking me up at like 1 a.m. to watch the Boss Man come out into the Royal Rumble. So yeah, that was my earliest memory of wrestling.
So that's news to me. I didn't know. Are you really from England, or were you just over there for a little while?
So my pops was in the military, virtually my whole life. So I was born in Jamaica, and then I lived all over the place after that. So Jamaica first, then I went to Germany, then England, and then when we came stateside, I went to Texas, then Alabama, then Florida, lived in Virginia, lived in New York for a bit, but I'm a military kid, man. I've been all over.
So let me ask you some questions about the places you lived, man. So out of all the places that you lived, where do you think you had the best culture?
That's a difficult question to answer because most of these places that I lived, I lived that, in like my youth. And, not to say that, you don't get to experience culture, but like I feel that's like it's way different experiencing something as a child than it is from experiencing something as an adult. But I
As a
mean,
child, you quite don't know what you're experiencing.
yeah, I'll agree with that. So
I
yeah,
understand.
it's kind of hard to say. Yeah,
All
it's
right,
one of those
so
ones I don't really have a straight answer for you.
what about the best food? Like what about the best food? Did you like, German food, England food, Texas barbecue? Like where did you find the best food at? Because I'm a food guy. I
um,
love Remy.
uh, Texas was dope as far as the food goes, man. I certainly can't hate on that, but being from a Caribbean family, I'm biased, man. I'm sorry. I love Caribbean food. I'm sorry.
I got you, man. I got you. So, all right, let's get into some more wrestling related stuff. Have a little bit of fun with your background. I didn't
All
know
right.
that you were so well traveled and well versed. I knew you were born in Jamaica, but I
Yep.
didn't know any of the other stuff. So, guys, this is a learning experience for me as well. If you have any questions for Red, be sure to drop those in the chat. We'll get to them just as fast as we can.
Yeah,
I got a
shoot them
few
out.
more
I'll be glad to
questions.
answer them, guys.
I got a few more questions, then we're going to open it up for a Q&A in just a little bit. So
All right.
send those questions in, guys. But getting into wrestling, Remy, you have one of the most high-flying, high-impact move sets that I have been privileged enough to watch. Who are some of the people that inspired you in the way that you wrestle?
It's funny you mentioned that because I feel most people have like all of the same favorites and they'll tell you all the same stories about how this person inspired them, that person inspired them.
Mm,
And look, don't get it twisted. I loved watching the main event of whatever promotion I was watching at the time, but I always was drawn to those workhorses.
yes.
Before Chris Jericho became like the guy, I loved like the slimy, always ducking and dodging people heel that would go on and just absolutely tear the house down week after week after week. I loved people like Rob Van Dam, who is so unique to anything else that has been in pro wrestling. And so
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like I draw inspiration from guys like that. I just try to be unique, try to be different. And being a smaller guy, I'm usually fighting up as far as height and weight. So high impact is basically everything that I do because I don't have like a lot coming behind these blows, but I throw absolutely everything I have in every single strike. So yeah, man, what you see is the outcome of me just trying to make up for the size differential that I have.
Hey, man, even a Tic Tac does damage at 90 miles an hour.
See, I like the way you think.
So when you're learning, first off, before we get into that, at what age did you start pursuing professional wrestling?
Oh, see, this is wild. You know what? I bet I'm about to blow a lot of people's minds right now. I had my first pro wrestling match when I was 32 years old.
I didn't even know you were 32.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently not 32. God,
Obviously, I had no idea you were older than me.
yeah, man.
Dude, that's insane.
What
Um,
what can I say? Again, like I've been a fan my whole life, but just during like the late teens and my 20s and all that, I don't know if it was doubt, I don't know if it was fear, I don't know if if I just thought I wasn't good enough, that I wouldn't be able to cut it, that I was too small. But I just never decided to chase the dream. But after I turned 30, I told myself, I was like, yo, it's now or never. I at least want to give this a shot and see what I can do in this industry. And so, 31, I started training like well into 31, and then 32, I had my first match.
That's insane, man. We got a comment coming in from one of our viewers, Draven. Says he looks young to be in his 30s.
Hey, man, I'm not lying, bro. 34.
34. Dude, I thought you were like 28 or something. I had no idea you were older than I was.
Hey, man.
That's incredible. So now the question I wanted to ask that I started to ask before that, getting into pro wrestling, I can imagine there's a certain level of intimidation, whether it be, am I going to be good enough? Do I have what it takes? Just learning the art of wrestling. Then you throw into the equation the things that you do. When you were developing your moveset, was there anything that stood out to you like, this is probably going to be a bad idea? Like, the things that you do are very, very intimidating. Did you ever go through, I guess, what's called, the best way I can describe it, like writer's block for pro wrestlers when you're developing this moveset?
Yeah, man, that happens all the time because, there are like so many things, that like I've either seen directly or I've seen like a variation of it. And I'm like, oh, that would be nice if I could add that in, if I could somehow piece this together. But then, if it's something you haven't done, the first place your brain goes is all the places that it could go wrong. And because, a lot of my stuff it's high flying, it's high risk, there is a greater chance of it going wrong than, somebody who has more of a mat-based style. So yeah, that doubt creeps in virtually all the time whenever I'm, trying to come up with new stuff. But, like I said, my age, that, nobody can wrestle forever. So all that doubt just has to go to the side, and, I just got to put all that on hold and just go for it.
But, man, that's a lot easier said than done. And I like what you said about, staying or incorporating new things and staying with the times and staying fresh, keeping your character alive, and your moveset alive. Somebody like you who does these innovative style things, how hard is it to keep doing new stuff? Because every time I watch you, I feel like, okay, I've seen everything this guy can do. I almost said what this kid can do, but you're older than I am. But I feel like I've watched everything this guy can do. I come back to the next Remi match, and you're just throwing more and more and more. It's like Thanksgiving dinner with you. You never really get to the end of the line.
And you know what? I hope that we're nowhere near close to the end of the line. I mean, you kind of hit the nail right on the head. It's very difficult to, keep things new, keep things fresh, keep things innovative. But, that's part of the creative process is, if you're going to make it in this industry, you got to be able to stand out. So, keeping it fresh, that's just something you got to do. But yeah, you're right. It's extremely difficult. It's one of like, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but for me, it's one of the harder parts of wrestling is, I didn't really have like any issues dealing, with like the fitness regimen or anything like that when it comes to training or being out there.
We're going to get into that too, Remi.
All right. We can revisit that. So, I'll hold off on that topic for now, but yeah, just for me personally, that's one of the more difficult things about wrestling is just finding a way to keep it fresh and, keep the fans excited so they don't expect the same thing every time. And whenever they do see the new things, they react, give applause, all that good stuff.
You have this you almost make it look so effortless. And when I talk about, match psychology and the actual, I don't want to disrespect with any pro wrestlers, but let's be honest, the physical part, that's easy, okay? The mental part of it, knowing when to do this, knowing when to do that, knowing how to draw this reaction from the crowd, and the timing of it, I feel like that's the harder stuff to do. You can teach anybody to do a lockup, but can you teach them how to make the crowd do this at this time? And you're one of those guys who always seems to pull these things out at the exact moment where they mean the most and they hit the hardest. That is why I've always loved watching your matches.
Oh, appreciate that, man.
No, I mean every word of it, man. But because you kind of hinted at it, and this has been our biggest beef back and forth, Remi.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Between me and Remi. So I'm gonna show a picture for the audience watching. Remi, why you gotta have so many abs, man?
Hey, I just eat chicken, man. There's no secret. I just eat chicken and I train hard.
So you mean to tell me you eat chicken? If I go eat some chickens from McDonald's, I look like that because I've been doing that for 30 years, Remi. I never looked like that.
I did not say McDonald's, sir.
You said chicken, no. I eat chicken nuggets. I hear Buffalo Wild Wings. There's a lot of different chicken, Remi.
And see, look, while all that's good, I love it as a treat, but on the day-to-day, nah, man, I'm in the kitchen chefing it up with my lady.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Trying to make the healthy meals.
That's what I was going to ask you. How strict is your diet and training regimen? Because that shit don't have on its own. That's not normal, Remi.
I want to say it's strict, but it's not like, there's no room for variance. So like, if you want to talk about like my training regimen, a lot of people will find a workout, blocked out into like 12 weeks or whatever it is. And, they will lift all of the weights and do all of the reps, every single time without fail. I'm not really with that. And to be fair, I don't lift weights at all.
Bullshit.
I do calisthenics, pull-ups, push-ups, dips, and squats with varying degrees of weight. That's what I do.
We got a comment coming from a guy that Aaron, part of the security team for Real Pro Wrestling.
Hey, what's up, Aaron?
Remi's six-pack has a six-pack.
I mean, what can I say?
There's nothing you can say because there are no lies detected in that statement. So let's transition into, we have our fun. We talk about the abs of Remi because every time I see Remi, guys, and he's here to tell you like this is the God's honest truth. Every single time he walks to the venue, I look at him and go, "Please tell me you're wrestling with a shirt on today."
Constant, it never fails.
I always tell him he's not allowed to take that shirt off. It just makes me regret every decision I've ever made in my life. Well, yep, that glazed donut back in '93 shouldn't have ate that thing. But Remi, let's get serious for a second. We got you gave her two promotions that I really, really enjoy: Riot Pro Wrestling and Real Pro Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
You tend to be mainstays in both those organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go and talk about Riot Pro for a second.
All right.
Because you are wearing the Young Lions Championship. How long have you been with look at that thing, man. That's gorgeous. How long have you been working with Riot Pro? And how did you find Riot Pro, and how long have you been working with them?
They actually reached out to me, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was July of 2019 was my debut out there. I had the pleasure of kicking off the Young Lions division. I had a match against D3, who was an insane competitor. My God, is he good? Unfortunately, I did not win that day, but I went out there. I gave a good account of myself, and I showed not only the fans, but I showed the brass at Riot Pro that I could hang at this level. Because, at that point, I was only 11 months in, I think. I hadn't even reached a year, and they threw me in with D3. So, I went out there, I hung with them, I gave them some good stuff. Like I said, I came up a little short, but, I showed that I belong at this level, and I also showed what the Young Lions division is all about.
it's a very, very deep division and extremely stacked with talent. And what I like about Riot Pro Wrestling is they're constantly bringing in new guys, they're constantly keeping that division fresh and revived, and it leaves no lack of competition for you. And the old saying, "Iron sharpens iron." Remi, you're as sharp as you've ever been, my man.
Hey, I have to, man. I have to stay sharp if I want to hold on to this. Because see, like you said about constantly bringing guys in, that's what the Young Lions division is all about. There is no weight class. There's no like limit on style that you got to wrestle to be able to compete for this. The only qualifier that there is you got to be 5 years in the business or less. You got to have like that range of experience, because this was created to give us guys who are younger in the business a chance to showcase what we have to offer to the business. So, outside of that 5-year cutoff, basically anything goes. That's why you've seen me in the ring with guys a little bit smaller than me. Like, those actually exist. It's weird, I know. See me with guys my size, and you've seen me in there with somebody 6'7". So, it's a complete mixed bag.
I mean, what an amazing concept for that title, 5 years or less in the business. And I want to get your thoughts on that, because excuse me, the more I talk to people in wrestling, they say we weren't really given an opportunity or given a push, or people really weren't looking at us until we hit, this mark in our career or this time in our career. But for Riot Pro to essentially take the spotlight and said, hey, there's a lot of up-and-coming young guys. Let's give them the ball. Let's see what they can do. Let's give them the playbook and see who's going to be our Tom Brady. It's a great thing for them to do. So to kind of round up my question, what does it feel? What's the feeling like knowing that you are really the one who is giving people the opportunity that you so desperately wanted when you started? Now that you have the keys to the Ferrari, the keys to the kingdom, what does it feel like being the one who gets to get these opportunities to, and no disrespect, but the Green Boys coming in who really just need that break? What does it feel like being that break?
I guess you could say it feels, like it feels good. I'm proud of that. But, I never really look at it that way. I look at the person across the ring for me as somebody who either is at my level or they believe they are at my level. So as soon as that bell rings, and once we start going, we're going to find out if they actually belong. And see, that is the tough part about being the champion, is every time you go in there, you are going to get everybody's best shot, because they know that shot might not come around for them again. Because, if somebody steps up and faces me for this championship and they don't win, not only are they going to slide back down the pecking order, you said it yourself earlier, with as frequently as Riot brings people in, they might not be back.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, absolutely, Riot is a place to come and thrive and flourish and all that good stuff, but it's not like they're just, handing out spots. Like, you got to make the grade, man. You got to cut the mustard, or you're going to get up out of here. That's how it works.
No, absolutely. And, we keep talking about it, constantly bringing in talent, that revolving door. And there's a lot of talent to be had. There's a lot of people fighting for that spot. So, it's like you said, once you get that shot, who knows if you're getting it again.
Exactly.
Still sticking with Riot, they've had some pretty major announcements these last couple weeks, Remi.
Hey, man, they're growing, they're expanding, and,
you being a champion in the company, I mean, it's got to feel really exciting for you. They announced the Roku deal, the partnership, not really merger, but the partnership with Real Pro, which, I mean, for you, that's right up your alley because you favor both those companies.
I'm already there.
How do you feel about all these big changes coming to Riot?
Hey, all these changes, they're great, man. Absolutely nothing but good news. That means they're growing. There's going to be more eyes on the product. Of course, personally, it's always good, more eyes on me, holding and defending this every single show. But, going beyond me, it's great for the company because they're going to be able to keep bringing people in, keep giving out opportunities, and keep putting out top-notch wrestling.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. You have some amazing guys and girls in both companies. You have some amazing talent, whether it be tag team, singles, women's matches, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool stuff going on with both companies. I don't want to if this question is above your pay grade or anything, please let me know. But with this new merger, is there a chance that sometime in the future we could see the Young Lions Championship defended at a real pro wrestling event?
That question is above my pay grade, but I will put it out there and say I will defend this in a riot ring, in a real ring. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter who. I am the only Young Lions champion to date. So I have a responsibility to defend this against all comers. So yeah, so I can't speak on that. I don't know what's going to happen, but if it's up to me, I'll defend it wherever.
If they made the call and said, hey, will you get that title over to Real Pro and show them how we do it at Riot, you'd be more than willing to do that.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I love it. So let's talk about, let's shift gears a little bit and go into Real Pro, because once again, big things going on over there too. And you're a staple of that locker room. I think there's only been one show that I've been to that you weren't a part of, and it's because you had another booking that you have applications with.
Yep.
But let's talk about that for a second, because big things going on with Real. They have their 6-year anniversary show coming up this weekend. With all the hard work that you guys have put into Real Pro Wrestling, you being, like I said, one of the staples in the locker room, how good does it feel sitting here 6 years later and still going strong? I know you weren't there the entire 6 years, but for the time that you were there, the time that you've been there, you've definitely made an impact. How does it feel being even just a small part or a large part of that company's success?
The crazy thing about Real Pro, I knew who they were, and I always respected what they did, but I always felt that I didn't really fit their style. So, honestly, I was kind of shocked when they reached out asking to bring me in, and I was just like, oh yeah, for sure, man. I've never been here. I want to slide through, see what it's about. And, I made the trip. I went out there and I absolutely loved it. Right. And it turns out that maybe I don't visually fit the Real Pro mold, but I do belong there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, it's crazy. I want to say my first show there was November or December of 2020, something like that. So, I'm still within my first year there. So, obviously I haven't been there for the duration of the company, but in all the time I've been there, it's been an absolute blast, man. The crowds are great. I've been having killer matches after killer match after killer match, wrestling people of all shapes, all sizes. I've had a couple tag matches out there and everything like that. So yeah, man, it's, the company's pretty big anyway, but we're still on that upward trajectory.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and throw this out there because I'm counting down the days until it happens. I've had a little bit of success when it comes to things like this, speaking it out and letting somebody hear it, letting the idea cluster somewhere if it hasn't already.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm counting down the days till I get a Remi and Weezy T match.
Remi and who?
Weezy T.
Oh, yo, that would be dope, man.
Tell me about it, man.
Hey, I'm down to wrestle Weezy anytime he wants to do it.
I think you guys would have an amazing showcase. And when you have a guy who is as fast as you are and as fast as Weezy is, and I'm not taking anything away from the other talent, but it's hard to find somebody who can match a guy with your speed, with his speed. And I feel like you guys would bounce off each other so well, literally and figuratively bounce off of each other so well. I can't wait to see it.
Hey, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. And, seems like Real Pro needs to hurry up and make this happen.
We got Remi is gone in Real Pro. We have Aaron also popping in. I'd love to see Remi and Weezy. Who wouldn't?
Aaron gets it.
Aaron definitely gets it. I want to talk to you about some of your outside interests because you did something recently. I thought was super cool, and I really enjoyed it. But at the Clash of the Con show, the Comic-Con show, you versus Logan Cruz, you came out with silver robotic arms, almost a reference to Jax from Mortal Kombat. Put those things away, Remi.
Sorry.
I'm still not convinced you don't lift weights.
Bruh, just push-ups, man.
But with that being said, what are some of your outside interests aside from wrestling? Is Mortal Kombat, one of your interests, one of your hobbies, and what kind of things are you into other than wrestling?
I enjoyed Mortal Kombat more so in my younger days than I did now. The Jax cosplay, that was the byproduct of me not having a lot of prep time to put a costume together. So
and having way too much silver paint.
At the next con show, the costume is gonna be way better than that. I promise you that. But as far as my other interests outside of wrestling, I am a massive soccer fan. I've played virtually my entire life. So let's say from age 4 right up until the time that I started training for pro wrestling. So, I played all the way through grade school, played in high school, played in college, had a few semi-pro tryouts, didn't quite make it. Booyah Club's here. Booyah, what's up, fellas?
Let's just hope he doesn't catch that knee pad on the top rope again.
Hey, yo, stop bringing that up, man. That's a traumatic event. All right, just leave that in the past.
But it led to one of the funniest things in the world. And I tell this story all the time, but we all know RJ is in an interracial relationship. He's black. I'm just saying that to preference the story. And the paramedic that was treating was white, and he just looks up and goes, "If my girl sees my head between another white one's legs, she gonna kill me." So it led to one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
That guy is a clown, man. He is so funny. I love that guy.
You never know what you're gonna get in the ring with Remi. You never know what you're gonna get coming out of RJ's mouth.
Shit, you never madness. Know. It is madness every time.
I want to get him on the show, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get canceled because I don't know what he's gonna say.
Yeah, it'd be best to keep him at a distance.
Oh my god! So we were talking about your outside. We were talking about soccer. Having trials with semi-pros. Anything other than soccer?
I'm an American football fan. I don't play or anything. But
who's
other
your favorite
than
team?
That, Chiefs all day. Chief Kingdom. Let's go. But let's see, other than that, nah, man, I'm pretty much a homebody. I hang out with my lady. We have 3 pets here. So, we just chill most of the time.
Dude, I'm a massive football fan myself. I'm a Ravens guy. All
right, I respect that. Hey, thanks for Orlando Brown, by the way. Love that trade. That's gonna work out for us. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, I got to tell you, I always dread the Chiefs game because Lamar Jackson is 0-3 against Patty Mahomes. I do have a little Super Bowl ring collection. I got the Kansas City ring back there.
Oh, nice.
Gotta show some love. Yeah, all these little dots right here on my shelf, those are all either Super Bowl or NBA Finals rings.
Oh, snap. That's dope, man.
Yeah, dude, I collect so much stuff. My wife call me a hoarder. I prefer to say I'm a collector.
See, that's funny because apparently, most guys collect some form of a thing. Like it varies as to what it is. I want to say I'm one of the few that doesn't. I don't have that hobby that I just stockpile. Items in a series. That's not me. It's weird that you.
Can you see my shelf behind me?
I mean, I see 2 championships there. I mean, I'm sure there's way more than that. I see
There's
a
about
Power
50 in
Rangers
the house.
helmet. Oh gosh.
Power Rangers, NFL. There's literally action figures all around the top of every AEW action figure released except for the Chase, Cody, and Darby. Those are the only
Good
two I don't have.
grief. That's wild, bro.
Dude, I got jerseys that were used on TV shows and movies. I got a Waterboy jersey, a jersey from Friday Night Lights. My wife will call me over where I consider myself a collector. And that was actually my next question, is if you collected anything.
I mean, nah, man, but I'm about to start collecting these championships as soon as they keep coming through. But outside of that, nah.
I got you. I mean, you're gonna laugh for this one.
Oh boy, here we go. Ha! Alizé, what's up? I mean, you gonna have to ask Kevin about that. He was the one who had the snafu on the mic. I ain't had nothing to do with that.
So I'm gonna break down the fourth wall really quick for just a second. So I always make it a point to go around. I try to be as respectful as I can. I always ask the wrestlers, where am I calling you from? How much do you weigh? And Remi's always the same thing. Kingston, Jamaica, 45, and this is Remi. That's all he asks for. And Remi being one of my favorites, I never want to mess that up. I write so sloppy. And in the heat of the moment, Remi, as you know, in the heat of the moment, things just happen. And I had mistaken 145 for 195, but it led to a great little skit in the ring. We made the best of it. The crowd loved it. But that was completely on me.
And yo, you want to know the funniest part about that is as soon as I came through the curtain, they saw there was no 195. So everybody was having a good time about that, right? We're just laughing at like the lack of weight that there is. And then Ron Bass walks through the curtain. Yeesh.
So I have to ask, man, when I said 195 and you're on the other side in Gorilla, what were you thinking when I announced you at 195?
Bro, I turned. I want to say, was it Kelsey who was next to me? Maybe. I don't know. But I turned and I said, where on earth did he get 195? And then music kept playing. Out I went. Just rolled with it.
Chicken scratch. Each one of those abs weighs about 30 pounds.
Shit, hey. I mean, they are kind of dense. What can I say?
Oh, my God. So, Remi, if I remember correctly, you said earlier in the interview you're 34 years of age?
Yep.
And you started pro wrestling when you were 31, had your debut at 32?
Correct.
So I like to ask this question a lot because we get such a lineup of different answers. And I'm really excited to see what you're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's only been a couple of years, 34 to 31, so about 3 years. If you can go back in time when you were just getting started at 31 years of age, and as we all know in wrestling time, a year might as well be 10 years because it's always changing. You've had a lot of experiences so far. But if you go back in time when you first started and give yourself some advice that you really could have used, when you were getting started, now, what would that advice be?
Probably just to invest in myself because, now I feel like I'm hitting my stride. So, I have like nice gear and all that good stuff. But, I made the same mistake that everybody else makes when they're first starting out. They go to one of these big house companies that just, mass produces stuff that's like not customized at all. And I just, wore that for the first 6, 7, maybe even 8 months, 8 months in my career until I found a local guy who was able to start making all of my trunks for me. So, back in the beginning, I didn't invest in myself as heavily as I should have. And, who knows what I may have missed out on during that time period when I, was just another generic indie guy with, crappy gear. So like having sweet gear ain't gonna make you wrestle well. It's not gonna give you a good promo, but it'll at least like help you stand out a little bit. So maybe somebody will take a second look at you with something like that. So yeah, just the overarching answer is just investing in myself a little bit more right in the beginning.
I feel like having the proper gear, and like you said, it's not going to make you the best wrestler in the world, but it will make you stand out in a way that it shows people that you do take pride in yourself and that you take pride in what you do. Having the right wrestling gear, in my opinion, I've said this numerous times, but having good gear that is meant specifically for you. I mean, it's the same as showing up to a job interview in a suit, and it's your suit for what you do. Nobody wants to hire you wearing a t-shirt and shorts, but you come in with a suit and tie, you look professional.
Absolutely.
I mean,
hey, you see how I show up to the shows?
You mean with the shirt that looks like you had to paint it on?
Hey, come on, man. It fits.
you can buy clothes at other places than Build-A-Bear, Remi.
Hey. Shopping Express, sir.
No, I'm just teasing, but you bring it up that you do show up very, very, very professional. You have that discipline, and it really looks like you respect what you do and you respect the ring. Another thing that I noticed you do that a lot of people don't do is you still wipe your feet before you get to the ring.
Oh, absolutely, man. You have to. Well,
why?
I don't know. I don't get it. I always do it. I see some people do it, but I see most who do not. So I don't get it. It's over my head. Whatever.
That was really a question. Showing up looking just the two best dressed that show up to an event is you and Vertigo. You and Vertigo always dress to the nines when you get there. Always wiping your feet before you get in the ring.
Vertigo's always always love it. Love that guy. His kicks suck. Jesus Christ.
How important are these disciplines? And why do you think they're not practiced more?
And again, I haven't been in wrestling that long, so I can't speak about it from that perspective. But just the fact that, I'm in like a different generation to most of the young wrestlers, I just feel that like the generation below me, like age-wise, the majority of them want to get as much out of something with putting in as little as they possibly can. And, stuff like that, it matters. Because, again, wearing a nice suit and tie to an event isn't going to, put you in the title match. But, it shows whoever's in charge of these places that, hey, you're taking this seriously. So, you're going to come out here. You're going to show up early. You're going to help set up the ring. You're going to give your best effort. So I have a reason to bring you back. You're not just here to get a payday and skate. So, at least in my brain, that makes sense. But I don't know. Can't speak for anybody else.
No, I got you, man. And I definitely understand not wanting to speak for other people and stuff like that. And this completely went over, or I completely forgot about this, but you're also one of the guys, they're helping set up the ring before the show. And you're one of the first ones to help tear it down after suit and all, tie and all. You might take the tie off, but fancy clothes, not fancy clothes, it doesn't matter. You're always there, putting in the work, showing the respect. And I mean, when I tell you you're one of my favorite guys to watch wrestle, I truly mean it. And it's because of all those little things that you still do that show you respect this business. I'm not a worker. I don't claim to be a worker. I mean, I did before I was in the military, but that's not me anymore. I'm just a fan, and I love seeing people who respect it as much as you do. Thank you for having that discipline, and it really stands out, and it sets you apart from most people. When we talk about when we talk about the Young Lions division, I meant to talk about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy on the Florida indie scene right now who fits the Young Lions division, but you and him, polar opposites. It seems like you have so much respect for the business, and this guy just couldn't give a shit.
Oh, I know where you're going.
I'm talking about August Artois.
That prick.
What do we have to do to get this August and Remi match? And is this a match you've thought about? Is this a match that you want? How do you think this match would go down?
Why would I not want to slap the taste out of that dude's mouth? Please tell me why I wouldn't. Exactly.
I'm pulling I got my Remi card right here. I'm gonna pull that. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth.
Yeah.
I just want to get you, because you're a guy who respects the business so much, and August just doesn't seem like he gives a shit. What are your thoughts on August and the way he chooses to act?
He's a scumbag. He is a total and complete scumbag. Like, literally, this is a guy who is walking around this earth with zero redeeming qualities. Like, yeah, he's a decent wrestler. He's winning wherever he goes somehow. But this is a guy who has zero redeeming qualities. I would love to get the chance to slap him around. All he has to do is show up. I mean, people know who you are. You'll get booked. Stop ducking and dodging me, bro. I see you at all these other shows. I see you over there getting changed, looking at me with the side eye like you want to do something. But somehow we never cross paths in the ring. I wonder why that is.
Yo, I feel like I love on this show, Remi. I love it when we get like this juicy bit of content. And I know I said Wheezy T earlier, and I want that match for different reasons, but I want this match. Like, I want these matches both, but I want them for two completely different reasons.
Oh, so do I. I want them for different reasons too. Because Wheezy's dope. I'd love to wrestle him, see what he has to offer. But August
another guy who respects the business.
Yeah, but August is just a prick. Screw that guy.
I love
Can't put it any more blunt than that.
No, you're absolutely right, and I'm not going to ask you to. I mean, I feel like you've hit it right on the head. We know where you stand. We know how you feel. You know, you spent all this time bringing honor, dignity, and class to the Young Lions division. You got this guy over here parading around with two promotions top titles and couldn't give a shit less. So I'm down for it, man. And I think if there's one person to really put some respect into that guy, it's definitely Remi. But Remi, I know you have
the same way.
I know you have another interview set up. I know you have another meeting to get to. I do want to be respectful of your time. But in closing, just a few other questions for you. First off, we have a lot of people in these chats, a lot of people in my Twitch channel, a lot of people on the YouTube pages who are aspiring wrestlers, who are wanting to find their first wrestling school, who are wanting to take the steps into becoming a professional wrestler. What is some advice you would give to those people on making their first steps into wrestling?
First thing I would say is, do your research. There are a lot of, schools out there who are downright shady. There are some who, they're okay. And then there are ones that, when you see who is running those schools, when you see who is there on a day-to-day basis in training, when you see who they can pull in from wherever to come and run sessions, that those are the dope places to go. I mean, there are plenty of good options. I know like the world could possibly be seeing this, so not everybody has that same option. But, like if you live within range of Florida, there are so many options to you. There are so many good people that, maybe they're not here like permanently, but they'll at least, come through Florida for a couple of months before they go somewhere else. There are so many good people to learn from, just in this area right here. That's why, like, I feel like the Florida scene, especially like Central Florida, and I mean, I know Tampa's kind of on the west, but I'm kind of like counting that as Central Florida as well. Like that whole scene, there is no excuse for us collectively to not raise our level, because there are so many people who are here that are already good and they're willing to pass on that knowledge. So yeah, there's no excuse for us not to get better as a whole.
And when you look at the stats, Florida is number 2 in the United States for wrestling schools and independent wrestling as far as schools promotions. I believe New Jersey is number 1, Florida's number 2, and California is number 3.
Hey man, sounds like we're in good company.
Sounds like it, man. A lot of good talent, a lot of new faces coming into the divisions that I can't wait to see you get in there and mix things up with. I know the professional wrestlers are making their way over to Riot Pro. So
those guys are pricks. Those guys are pricks too. I can't wait to see the Madhouse slap them up.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because I do have this last question. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I feel like since you kind of segued into it. It's going to be okay now.
All right.
Throughout streaming Riot Pro Wrestling on my channel and having my viewers introduced to Riot, we've kind of seen that there's this very clear line in Riot Pro Wrestling. There's Showtime and his guys, and then there's Zach and everybody else. And it's a constant clash between the two. Where do you fall in this dynamic of he said, she said, Showtime, Zach, good guys, bad guys? Where do you fall with that whole rivalry?
Honestly, man, I don't pick sides. I just do me. There are people who I'm definitely cool with. Like, yo, Monstar is dope. He's scary as a bitch, but he's dope, right? And I mean, maybe get that away from me, please. Get that away. I get nightmares whenever I see the smoke come through that thing.
Rightfully, it's right next to the Power Ranger helmet.
But yeah, Monstar's dope, but that doesn't mean I'm just gonna, blindly follow whatever he does. But then again, you have somebody like Mr. Showtime who I don't understand what goes on there. Like, he ain't done nothing to me. He ain't had a crossword with me, I guess, because he knows where the money resides. But what I don't get is how he can allow somebody like Sage Scott, who won the Freestyle Invitational months ago and was supposed to have had this match months ago, to just dictate when this is going to happen, right? Like, I mean, I'm the champion, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying because I'm the champion that I get to make the decisions, but I don't understand how that guy gets to dodge me for months and pick when he gets to have this match.
That was something
that is weird. That is weird, RJ.
That is something that I've kind of wondered about. Not the socks. I mean, I don't understand why somebody wouldn't wear socks. But anyway, as far as Sage Scott goes, this is a big match coming up for you. I feel like I don't mean this. I mean no disrespect when I say this, but I feel like this match can prove a lot for you. Especially somebody who, 3 years into the business, Sage Scott, he's been featured on AEW. He's had these big time calls. He's worked for a lot of promotions. A win over him undoubtedly would be a massive feather in your cap. How are you preparing for Sage Scott?
Hey, man, I'm not doing anything different from what I normally do. I'm just being me, man. I've been putting in some extra sets, but I don't have to get ready for this match, man. I am ready.
Remi's got one speed, and it's full speed all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it, man. I'm going to be there at the show. I'm going to be there, ringside, because I'll be streaming the event, but I'll have a front row seat to you versus Sage Scott. I'm in your corner, man. I think you're going to bring the title back home.
Of course I am. I'm going to be out there oozing, man. Don't worry about it. Sage is going to get slapped up. Don't worry about that.
I don't want to disrespect the level of competition that Sage Scott brings by asking this, but without looking past him, what's next for Remi?
Even though Sage is gonna get slapped up, like, I'm not gonna disrespect him either. Like, the dude's good. That's why he's the number one contender. He wouldn't be the number one contender if he was a scrub, right? But as far as what's after Sage, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've held on to this title for a while. I've beaten everybody that they've had so far. I know Dawkins is in the division. Kwame's in the division. Super talented guy. Yep. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, realistically, I think he performed the best in the Freestyle Invitational. He just got a crappy draw and came out early in the night. So, it's a shame that, he didn't end up winning that match based on that reason. But, it is what it is.
I got you, man. Final question for you, because I kind of want to see where your head's at with this.
All right.
Out of Riot and Real Pro, and I know the kind of champion you are. I know the kind of man you are. I know how confident you are. Whoever's next in line, that's who it is. But if you had your choice, if if the cards were in your hand and the owner said, who is next? Who do you want? Remi, who is your dream match? Who's next? Who would you choose to face off with?
Oh, man. I don't know if I could call it a dream match in the sense of, oh, man, I keep missing this guy. We're supposed to have a killer match, but then it gets changed, whatever. But we alluded to it earlier. I really want to slap August Artois. So that's the guy.
Remi, I'm really hoping we get that match. I'm really hoping we get that match. I think it's going to be fantastic. Despite the way August chooses to act and conduct himself, he is a very athletic person. He does have a decent moveset on him. I mean, the man can work.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think he's had a challenge quite like you yet. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. I think you bring something to the table that not a lot of people do. And I don't think he'd be ready.
It's nothing that he's used to.
Exactly my point.
He's used to wrestling these big, slow guys and finding a conniving way to come out on top. But nah, man, ain't none of that going to work on me. He going to have to outwork me, and that ain't happening.
I got you, man. Remi, I do want to be respectful of your time. I know you have some other plans for tonight. Before we get off here, let everybody know where they can find you, follow you, where your social medias are. Guys, if you do use ! Remi in the chat, ! RM or REMI, it will take you directly to Remi's Instagram page. You can follow him there. But aside from your Instagram, where can they find you at, man?
Honestly, man, that's it. I don't use Twitter like I have one, but, I don't check it. So if I've been tagged or, mentioned in any of that, I don't see it. I don't have TikTok and none of that nonsense. This is tomfoolery, if you ask me. You ain't doing none of the dances on TikTok, man? Oh, heavens no. Heavens no. So yeah, I mean, you steered them to my Instagram page. I'm on Facebook, but, whatever. Guys, it is just that simple. ! Remi will bring up his Instagram link. You can click on it and follow him there. I highly encourage that you guys do so. Please do. Some amazing matches coming up from Remi in the near future. Sage Scott, hopefully we get that Wheezy T match, and by God, hopefully we get that August Artois match. Maybe we can even go title for title. Maybe we can make it winner take all. Hey, man, I am down for whatever. Guys, this has been this week's episode of The War Room with Remi himself. I've had such a great time sitting here talking to you, man. If I can just have one more second of your time after this live feed ends, I would truly appreciate it. Oh, absolutely, man. Guys, there will be no live stream tomorrow. As soon as I get off with Remi, I'm literally packing up the office, getting ready to head to Florida so we can stream the Real Pro anniversary show. But we will be live again this Saturday on twitch.tv/HeelKevin for the Real Pro Wrestling anniversary show. I hope you all tune in for that. And with that being said, guys, for myself, from Remi, I want to thank you guys for being here. ! Remi. Follow him on Instagram, and we'll see you guys Saturday for Real Pro Wrestling. All right. Y'all take care. Thanks for having me, Big Kev. Yep.